This is video number 4 for today. The value of that quote unquote eco-friendly bill of Biden that he is passing. What is your purpose of solar energy and what? Basic wind. If you're at an airport, why won't you actually have a wind farm potentially? Because there's more than enough wind for taking off, per se. Is there not? But literally, how would you actually grab the wind in that magnitude? I guess you could say gone with the wind, but you could also say the biblical term of saying who actually catches the wind? Nobody. So, how do you create it? Is it not propulsion itself or redirected in a different manner? Great question. How well can you see? I remember one day that actually on Shark Tank, someone tried to create a buoyancy device that actually generated energy. But literally the funding of that is priceless but minute for it wasn't at maximum potential. So that was a bad decision to make and actually post because you actually lose your process. They will redirect you in so many different directions that literally you wouldn't even magnitude or have an idea of where you want to go. So therefore, that's why they declined the mission itself. Not a good thing, but it's a good and bad thing because literally you didn't maximize what? How big it or how small it is and where you're actually quote unquote redirecting the energy to. How do you quote unquote get that energy? Great question, right? Only you know, or who else? So, what's another good wind source? You say Chicago, yeah. Windy City, yeah. But literally, it's too much crime for you to actually have that type of technology potentially there just because of the fact that literally you actually have to grid off the area. Bad situation, but what's at the top of the building? Ooh, different angle now. So literally, 90% of any buildings, for what I know, have basically roofs. But literally, there's nothing up there. Not even a solar panel to basically say we have a backup generator. Hello. But everybody wants to be driving right now. Great question, right? Now, when I gave you those quote unquote, or gave you the thought of basically, how can I say, the chemical analysis of a solar panel itself, how would it not make us long-term more efficient? Because literally there's nothing actually blocking it except for the what? The clouds itself. Amazing, right? But literally, what does the moon actually produce? Would it be positive or negative? Great question. I can't even fathom the thought of knowing what, how can I say, is emitted off the moon, but literally, even with the moon itself, I don't even think there's a charge, but it still illuminates the sky, does it not? What would be the opposite of a moon? Great question. I think that's light years away right now. I told you I was out this world, but I don't think y'all ready for my thought and processing of what's basically available. Because literally, how can I say this? You can look at any hotel region and literally know that there's actually no solar panels on top of them. But yet still, what is the value of that building itself? Priceless. Why? How many generations and years has it been standing and how many actual valuable people have been there? Great question. But what are you investing in when you're actually throwing away food or throwing away breakfast and throwing everything away? I can't even figure out the answer to that. But where do you put all that waste at too? Who actually still takes that six-pack can and literally breaks it down to its normal state of basically just being an entity more so instead of having loops in it for the ocean? Slim to none. I still do it because one of my favorite movies, you ready for it? I hope so. It's called Free Willy. Crazy, right? Yeah, but if you watch Animal Planet enough, back in the early days in PBS, which is very basically this small now comparison to where they had so many influential shows and information that literally you can find anything and everything you want. But the point is, what's the point of being efficient when literally you have all that space on the roof, you have all those windows, but yet still, what do you use them for? To keep people from jumping out the window? Okay, fair. But literally, do you not see the sun and do you not see the night sky? How do you view that? That's a different angle. See, what you think is somebody being crazy is actually light years ahead. But y'all wonder why they came out with quote unquote, what would be a great movie? Independence Day? Yeah, I'll give you that one. But literally, I'll give you the aircraft they used in Independence Day. It went backwards, forwards, up, down, left, right. But when you bank in a flight, right, which is going straight and then you bust a hard left or a hard right, how much fuel are you actually using? Great question. But literally, how much, G-forces are you actually taking in when you receive that type of quote-unquote force, which is gravity, which is 9.81, but literally is actually magnified even more because you're actually squeezing in on basically speed and gravity itself, because are you not being propulsion, moving forward or having propulsion, or are you at a quote-unquote nosedive per se, or in a jet wash and literally still trying to figure out how to get out of it with all that inertia going around you? Great question, right? So, what do you do with a brain that actually holds all of that? You try to make it a nice little small little thing, and you just keep it quiet. But literally, is that not what the zip drive is itself? Compression? Old technology, but we still obsolete it though. May spend millions and billions on back then, but yet still, where is it at now? You can't even find a zip drive on a shelf at all. Nowhere. But slowly, I just saw the other day was a DVD-R drive and CD-R drive. What's the value of those? Digital optical lens? Yes, but literally, what was another? I think Sony had another one too. It was a micro mini disc that also had an optical drive on it too, and I think it was for a stereo. But literally, all that is data that's basically wasted or what? Obsolete or what? I don't even know where it's at. But how many people still use the cassette tape? Great question. These are all great questions, but literally, what's the value of it? But what's the value of what you can't hear or see? Is it death or life? I meant to say life, but it sounds like I said life. I don't know what the hell that is, but I guess you wonder why I said I was married then, but I don't know. What's the value of it now? All these years, and what fruit do I have of it? Literally, a child that I haven't seen in almost a year and a half per se, and literally, what else? Me being in a city in which I was damn near banned out of, based on what? Just people hearsay and not actually knowing why I'm actually here without handcuffs. But you wonder why I tattooed wisdom and what? The tree with knowledge above it, right? What do you do when you actually know that? How can I say like this? What does a Navy use as a buoyancy tool? And what was the original Monitor and Merrimack? Great question. Both were wood built, but what's the value of it now when we use steel and every other metal? I can't tell you what that composition is because I really don't know. But really, we have gone beyond that and actually used nuclear. But where are you getting that energy from? Precious metals that should not be removed out of the earth improperly. And then you get mad when a small little thing, plutonium, gets exacerbated and disappears. Right or wrong? That's crazy. So, you wonder why people compromise their own government to an extent with The Enigma and countless other movies that they actually made, because they're all true stories. But they just modify it to where it makes sense to you, but do you slow down the process and actually think the process of thought to make sure that you don't compromise your own government? Great questions. So what's another question? What's the value of tin now? It may be actually priceless if you add metals to it, but literally, what metals do you actually add to where it's still cost efficient, one, but two, how can I say like this? You still have enough energy like the Tesla, and you basically bypass those stations just for a little bit longer. You're welcome, Tesla. I told you I got you. But what do you do when you're still running gas when literally, how can I say like this? Gas is extruded out of the earth, and when was the last earthquake that we had? I don't even want to predict that, but we might just want to slow down a little bit on pumping that gas. Just a little bit, if not a whole lot. And then figure out, not throwing gang symbols or nothing like that, but just showing size and magnitude as far as how big my hand is and what I actually am trying to direct, because I can't go no bigger than your hand. But literally, I could use two, but if I only have one, how do I define it? Countless. So, you could type fast, yes, but what's the longevity of typing fast after years and years and years? You think that you're not going to start cracking your knuckles because your fingers are tight? Or you're actually going to be still efficient after, 10, 15 years of over maybe 300 words per minute, if not more? You're still going to be efficient, yes, but those numbers are slowly going to start slowing down just because of the fact that your body does age. And you're starting going to have to use chemicals, more so CBD and other things, to basically alleviate that age, because things start to hurt after a while, right or wrong? Right. But can you handle and maintain? That's another great question. Can you stay fluid and basically understand what is being presented to you? I hope so. But literally, every hotel chain that actually was in the black should be back in the black again, because literally, they just reduced power consumption a lot more and added more eco-friendly to basically what we put out and are taking back in.